in Kenya, then the government is responsible for it, Mr. Speaker. Because number one, William Ruto is very afraid. He's a afraid person. Because number one, he wants to protect himself because he wants to bring genocide in Kenya. He wants to commit sin. He wants to shed blood, and that's why he wants to protect himself. Because how Kenya being one of the... Kila mtu punch juu. Every comrade, patriots and friends punch juu. Bunge power. Bunge viva. Thank you. The members of the Fourth Estate, patriots, comrades, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Bunge power. Bunge viva. This is the legitimate and the consummate, the paradigm shifters talking. And I would wish each and every fellow comrades to listen to me crystal clear, avidly and keenly. Mr. Speaker will beg for at least the increment of some minutes, like 2 or 3, Mr. Speaker, through your prerogatives, through your power, because you are here to moderate, especially when we want to use the wisdom. Mr. Speaker, to begin with, this is the lucidity of my sacrosanct and robust point, and you are supposed to be listening to it keenly, Mr. Speaker. Straight away, Mr. Speaker, I will synthesize each and every matter keenly and politely. Mr. Speaker, let's begin by the bipartisan talk. I will not touch much about that, Mr. Speaker, but what I will say, the only bipartisan talk is one agenda. And the reason why Raila Odinga, the legitimate president of Kenya, is going to the table is because when you are going to the table of the mediation, you must go, the table of justice, you must go with a clean hand. And there is a person who asked why both sides are bringing their demands. The demands can come from all over. We can also as well table our demand. But they are going to do what we call the harmonization. They are going to harmonize. Because when you are going to the table of justice, it's a give and take. You leave some demands and you admit some demands. That is how it is. So, Mr. Speaker, to conclude on the first agenda of bipartisan talk, I will urge the mighty citizen and I will urge the Azimio brigade to stick to one agenda. Leave alone the cost of living. The cost of living, I don't care. Mimi, what I care to see Raila Odinga president. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the only way to stop this idea, the crooked idea of election multi-practice is to stop it now. And if we don't stop it now, Mr. Speaker, it will go infinity. Mr. Speaker, I support one agenda. Opening of the server. Yes. I support the 3 agendas, Mr. Speaker. Number 1, opening of the servers. Number 2, opening of the servers. Yes. Number 3, opening of the servers and declaring Raila Odinga as the legitimate president of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, agenda number 5, if you are in any doubt of the 3, refer to the 3 above. Open the server and declare Raila Odinga the president. Mr. Speaker, point number 2, about the cessation, and I want to castigate with the strongest order possible a member who has left the floor, my able comrade, and I will term his terminology as inept. The man is so ineptitude. I will term his terminology as inept, balderdash and obfuscation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we are yearning for us to secede, we are talking about the cessation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the cessation. We have 10 laws. We have 10 comrades who presented the petition at the court. And Mr. Speaker, for a portion of Kenya to secede, we call it cessation, not division, Mr. Very good. That is a correction, Mr. Member of Parliament. We not divide Kenya, but we call it cessation. For a nation, a part of the nation to secede, there are factors to be considered, Mr. Speaker. What are the factors? Number one, we have the police brutality, Mr. Speaker. And we have all witnessed that is in the public domain. Number two, we have what we call radicalization. That means only 2 tribes are ruling Kenya. Yes. And since time of immemorial, Mr. Speaker, only two tribes have ruled. And they are not ruling legitimately. They are lining some parts of Kenya. And that's why Luo community plus other members feel victimized. So they presented their petition for them to secede. I strongly and I fully support the secession, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is no way, and I will tell you, where someone will use the police to kill a specific people. William Ruto wants to bring the massacre in this country. The same as the Holocaust and the genocide, what happened in Germany. Mr. Speaker, for the whole world to be divided, and a very good example, we all witnessed a secession which occurred recently in Africa. That is Sudan. Sudan seceded. And for the people, the benefit, some doubting Thomases, secession is as easy as beating a woman. And I will tell you why. Secession, Mr. Speaker, is as easy because only the part which want to secede are the part who are voting. We only collect the signatures and the factors to be considered for the secession to take place. We present it at the High Court, then we collect the signatures, then we present it at the Hague, the International Criminal Court Justice. It's as simple as beating a lady, Mr. Speaker. So for somebody to come and insinuate that secession is difficult, secession is not difficult. It's as simple as beating a lady. Mr. Speaker, we will present all our signatures, we'll append all our signatures, we will petition to the High Court, then we take all the signatures and the factors to be considered for the secession to take place at Hague. Mr. Speaker, the third point, right? The third point, I've talked about the bipartition, I talked about the secession, then, what is this, Mr. Speaker? Bunge power, Bunge viva. I believe all here, we are intellectuals, and we are here to listen. Because at one given point, you may have a point to take home. You may have an information, and information is power, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will concur fully with the member who left the floor by saying William Ruto is a afraid person. Mr. Speaker, for William Ruto to run to Zambia and insinuate that they are protecting the terrorists in Kenya. Number one, we don't have terrorists in Kenya. And if there is one terrorist in Kenya, then the government is responsible for it, Mr. Speaker. Because number one, William Ruto is very afraid. He's a afraid person. Because number one, he wants to protect himself because he wants to bring genocide in Kenya. He wants to commit sin. He wants to shed blood, and that's why he wants to protect himself. Because how Kenya being one of the most country in Africa, leading in terms of the NIS, National Intelligence Service, claiming that there is a terrorist in Kenya. No, William Ruto is in bed with the terrorist because he wants to shed blood in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, all what William Ruto is doing, he is afraid person of what is taking place in West Africa, Mr. Speaker. West Africa are witnessing what we call a coup d'etat, Mr. Speaker. And it's going to pervade in the whole Africa, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker will tell this without, Mr. Speaker will say this without fear of contradiction, that the person who stole our cow is with the cow and is telling us to sit down and talk. We are not going to talk and we are not going. It means the bipartisan is going to tell. Mr. Speaker, will end my point by saying, there is a country, comrades power. There is a country in the Mediterranean Sea, it's an island, it's called Cyprus. Cyprus is a country in the eastern part of Mediterranean Sea. Mr. Speaker, in Uganda, when Idi Amin, a tyrant, Idi Amin wanted to change the Uganda name to be Idi, so that Uganda should be called Idi. His friend called Prince told him that there is a country in the Mediterranean, the eastern Mediterranean Sea, which is called Cyprus. The people of Cyprus are called Cypriots, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Prince told Idi Amin Dada that if you change the name Idi, the name Uganda to Idi, the people of Uganda are going to be called idiots. Mr. Speaker, there comes a time when a nation shall be more important than an individual. And I will end my point with a quote. by Adolf Hitler that stupidity is a gift from God. Never misuse it. Bunge power.